Excel, Module 2, Formatting a Worksheet, Independent Challenge 1. Go ahead and open 2-3 and then you'll rename it 2_Riverwalk. So the first thing we're going to do in column H is add the accounting formatting style. So select H11 all the way through H39. So it'll match the one that's to the left of it, and just click the accounting format and it automatically puts the $sign in and 2 decimal places. And then in the percent of total in column J, right now it's not showing as a percent, it's showing as a decimal. So select J11 all the way through J38 in the number group, percent. And right now it's rounding, so you will increase the decimal place twice, so it's no longer rounding. And then in the inventory date column, which is column B, instead of having the full month, day, and year, it's just going to be the day and the month actually abbreviated. So if you select the range B11 through B38 and go into your date down arrow for more options, there are 2 showing up on the shortcut menu. One is the short date, which it is right now, and the other is the long date. We're going to go to more number formats. The category should be date, and you have samples of choices here. I'm just going to click, and I want this one right here. This is just a sample date. It will be the actual dates that are in the cells. So go ahead and click OK, and now you have the day and the abbreviation. So we'll select row 10, starting with A10 all the way to J10, and we'll put them in bold and increase the size to 12. And the items in column A, the categories, we are going to select all the way to 38 and put that in italic. And if you were to look at the font type, it's Calibri, and if I click K1, it's actually Times New Roman, so we'll change that so it matches the rest. I'll just type a C, there it is, Calibri. In A1, where the title is, it's very small font, so we'll choose Cell Styles and select Title. We'll select column I. We don't need column I, so just select in the column heading and then choose Delete, and it deletes the column. And now we'll merge and center because we're going to go all the way to column I, so start in A1 and drag all the way to I and choose Merge and Center. So sometimes if you're looking at your columns, if you have any hashtags, that means the column's not wide enough. But there's also another thing. If you're looking at the different categories in column A, you're not seeing the entire content. It shows up in the formula bar, but just not in the column. So if you just hover between A and B and double click, it'll make it as wide as it needs to be to show all of the content. Now we're going back to the inventory due date. So we have the inventory date and the inventory due. We want them to match. So you could select all of these and go back into your date and select the correct formatting date. But if you select the one that has the style you want, so I'll click B11 and then I'll click the paintbrush. So the icon attached to the insertion point is now a paintbrush. So I'm going to hold and click and drag so that I'm matching or copying the formatting style. I'll still keep the exact dates are in here and let go. So I copied the format but not the dates. Select J1 and K1 and we're going to add a fill color, and that's in the tipped over paint bucket, and we're selecting light turquoise background 2. So light turquoise background 2. And while it's still selected, we'll change the font and that'll be dark teal text 2. So we're changing the font of J and K1, and it's this one here is the dark teal text 2. And then we'll select all of the column heading in row 10, and we're going to choose a bottom border. The default is bottom border, but if you select the down arrow, you can select bottom border. So now you have a bottom border for the column headings, which is row 10. So now we're going to apply some conditional formatting. So the first one is the total column, so selecting H11 all the way to H38, not the total. Conditional formatting, and we're just going to do data bars with the gradient blue fill. And then for the quality column, which is E, select E11 to E38, and we're just selecting, again, not the total. Conditional formatting, we're going to icon sets, and the first one is 3 arrows colored. So if you click sheet 3, we're going to right click and choose rename, and this will be called budget, and press enter so it's accepted. And then click sheet 1 and right click that and rename it to actual. Again, press enter to accept it. Budget, right click and change the tab color to red in the standard colors. And then for actual, right click, choose the tab color, and again in standard colors choose purple. And then sheet 2 will actually delete, or actually they want you to move it to the end, so you just drag and move. And I'll go back to actual. And I'm just going to click in any cell and then control home so it takes me to the beginning of the worksheet. And we'll do spell check. It's in review, spelling. And the very first one, there's a typo in scope. It's 2 O's. It should be the first one. So go ahead and click change. And then you're finished your spell check, so okay. And then the next thing they want us to do is replace, every time you see Maxi, they want Ace. So you'll select home, and in the editing group there is find and select, and you'll choose replace, and you're typing Maxi with a capital M, and you want it replaced with Ace in all caps, and then you'll choose replace all, and there should be a total of 4 replacements, and then click OK and close. Next, we'll delete sheet 2. There's nothing, if you were to select it, there's nothing there, so right click and choose delete. So we should have just 2, budget and actual, and then we'll go to file, print, and we'll prepare to, if you want to look at it right now, it's showing on 2 separate pages, which is, I'll show you something that you can do to get it to all fit on one page and keep it in portrait, because I think even if we changed it to landscape, it's going to still be another page because it's so long. So if you keep it in portrait, there is a feature that if you change this where it says no scaling, you can select fit sheet on one page. So it all fits on one page. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is it makes it harder to read. It's smaller. So what you could do instead is, if you go into page setup, I would change the margins so they're not as wide. And then we can go click OK to see if it all fits. It's still on another page, so maybe just make it a little bit narrower. So I'll go back into margins, left and right, give that a try. There, now it all fits. So back in page setup, in margins, there's also another button that will horizontal and vertically center it, and then go to header, and at the custom header in the middle section, which is the center, type your name and then click OK. Then go to the custom footer, and in the middle of the custom footer select sheet name and that's the one that says actual, and then OK, and OK. And you'll see your name at the top, and the worksheet was called actual. And that's a save and a submit.